Do you actually know how much energy your solar system is losing, like right this very second? Well, let's dive into this explainer and uncover the truth. Welcome back. Today, we are tackling a heavily misunderstood topic that honestly affects every single off-grid and hybrid setup out there.
Whenever people talk about inverter efficiency, they usually just parrot a single, fixed number from a spec sheet. You know the one, 95%. Or maybe it's 90 or 93. We see these numbers slapped on the sides of cardboard boxes so often that we just kind of start treating them like the laws of physics. But the reality of electrical engineering, well, it's rarely ever that neat and tidy. There is a massive stark contrast between theory, where efficiency is just a static label on a piece of paper, and reality, where efficiency is actually changing every single second the load changes. So we aren't just blindly trusting labels today. We're going to look at real DC input against real AC output under heavy load, because in a live, breathing system, that spec sheet number is always a moving target. Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the spec sheet myth, then define real system efficiency. After that, we'll expose the hidden villains of sag and heat, look at the true efficiency curve, and finally, wrap up with the absolutely crucial safety rules for live testing.
All right, kicking things off with part 1, the spec sheet myth.
If you've spent any time at all researching solar setups, you've definitely seen these completely surface-level explanations. Most sources just stop at theory and give generic advice, totally missing the crucial simultaneous measurement of real DC input versus AC output. They might vaguely blame power loss on DC to AC conversion, or casually tell you to just buy a bigger inverter. Some might even show a clamp meter demo, but almost always only on the AC side. It's a massive blind spot that just completely ignores what's actually happening in the whole system.
Which leads us perfectly into part 2, defining real system efficiency.
Okay, let's get back to basics for a second to understand the math. First, your inverter takes energy from the battery in DC form. DC input power is literally just your battery voltage under load multiplied by the current drawn from the battery bank. That is the true raw energy right at the start of its journey.
Then, the inverter converts that energy into usable AC output, which factors in voltage, current, and the power factor. And by the way, that power factor is absolutely vital when you're running inductive loads, things like heavy-duty motors, refrigerators, or well pumps.
So the crucial takeaway here is that true efficiency is a real-time ratio calculating exactly how much of that battery energy actually makes it to your appliances. It's just your AC output power divided by your DC input power. We aren't talking about marketing data anymore. This is actual measured system behavior.
And honestly, this brings us to a really foundational engineering truth. Because battery voltage drops under load, which causes current to increase, your system's efficiency is a constantly moving target. The inverter isn't just sitting there converting power in a vacuum. It is reacting split second by split second to a constantly changing electrical environment.
Now for my favorite part, Section 3, Hidden Villains, SOG and Heat.
If we track the journey of a single watt from your battery to your appliance, it reveals exactly where heat and resistance are quietly eating away at your power. The journey starts at the battery bank, where voltage sag increases your current draw. Then, that incredibly high current travels through the DC cables, creating resistance and heat. Inside the inverter itself, internal heat drops the actual switching efficiency. Only after all of those cascading losses do we finally get to your usable AC load.
On paper, in theory, voltage is constant. It's a nice, perfect flat line. But in the real world, voltage absolutely sags under heavy load. This forces the current to spike, falsely lowering your perceived efficiency. Your system is suddenly working so much harder, pulling way more current just to compensate for that drop in voltage.
This creates a nasty domino effect. Thermal derating and cable resistance are essentially hidden villains destroying your system's performance. DC cables heat up significantly faster than AC cables at the exact same power level. And if your inverter has poor ventilation, you get a compounding cycle where heat creates resistance, which causes even more heat. Even a tiny bit of resistance turns your precious battery energy into an expensive space heater before the inverter even calculates it.
Let's look at how this all maps out in part 4, the true efficiency curve. When we break it down, your system actually has a peak efficiency sweet spot right around mid-load, but it totally struggles with idle losses at low load and thermal stress at high load. At a very low load, the inverter still consumes baseline energy just to stay awake, meaning fixed switching and idle losses dominate. Mid-load is your design sweet spot, but Push it to a very high load, and components heat up, internal resistance skyrockets, and you're suddenly battling thermal stress and conduction losses.
So remember, efficiency is absolutely not a flat line. It curves based on the load. This is exactly why two inverters with the exact same rating on their boxes can behave completely differently in real-world installations. One might run cooler, while the other sags faster and loses substantially more energy in the cables. You will never, ever see that on a printed label.
Finally, we absolutely have to talk about Section 5, Safety First, Live Testing.
Because testing real-world efficiency means dealing with live, extremely high DC currents. There are huge safety gaps most guides completely ignore. People ignore the intense heating on battery cables or the severe, and I mean severe, arc risks of probing a DC bus under load. Not to mention, if you place your clamping correctly, you aren't just risking your safety, you're going to generate completely false DC readings that totally ruin your calculations anyway.
You really have to treat measurement safety as a strict engineering discipline. Secure your connections and use the properly rated tools before you ever probe a live system. That means always using true DC-rated clamp meters. It means being hyper-aware of arcing risks. And please, I cannot stress this enough, never attempt live adjustments on DC terminals while the system is under heavy load. At the end of the day, the goal here isn't just to crunch numbers for fun. It's to deeply understand how your system behaves dynamically. When you grasp how energy actually moves from the battery, through the cables, into the inverter, and out to the load, you stop designing systems based on generic assumptions, and you start designing them based on measured, real-world behavior.
I love this quote we pulled from the source material because it really hits the nail on the head. Your design must be grounded in physical reality, not marketing labels. Efficiency is not a fixed number. It is a living, breathing system behavior that you have to account for.
So now that you know how to find the truth, it really makes you wonder, how much energy are you unknowingly losing right now? Let me know what real-world load we should measure next. A motor, a fridge, or maybe a heavy-duty water pump. Remember, in the world of solar, you literally cannot manage what you don't measure. Keep testing, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.